Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So friends, in this video we will have our discussion on this retrograde motion of planet Venus, which is going to be happening in the Libra sign. So after every 8 years, Venus tend to go through retrograde motion in the same zodiac sign. And just because when we talk about Libra is the favorite sign of planet Venus. If I were to say more than the Pisces energy where Venus attains exaltation state, in the Libra, it actually justifies the Venus inside. But just because Venus is going to be retrograde at the same time, so what does it indicate? Is it going to be like bringing some old relation from the past? Is it going to have some karmic repercussion to it? Is it going to give you a second chance in the relationship, or the relationship will not work out? So there is a lot which need to be discussed. So that is the only reason friends, because when I uploaded my September horoscope analysis video, so someone asked that comment that how come you have put that Venus is going to be in the Libra for such a long span of time? Venus hardly stays like 3 weeks in a zodiac sign. So that is the only reason I thought, okay, whatever is happening with Venus, we need to have a separate elaborative discussion specifically from the retrograde perspective. Because again friends, when it comes down to the planet Saturn, when it comes down to the planet Jupiter, we all are accustomed and habitual of dealing with it when these planets are in a retrograde state. But when it comes down to Venus, understanding it, the deeper nuances of it will become very important. So friends, to begin with, like the way I have already mentioned this thing, Venus approximately in every 1.5 year, Venus goes through the retrograde state, and generally its retrograde lasts for 40 to 44 days. And when we talk about the same specific zodiac sign, so that happens generally after 8 years. So the in the classical Jyotish, Venus, which we know as Shukra, it's entering a retrograde or the Vakra motion is considered as a very powerful event. So contrary to the many astrological interpretation which often view retrograde as a purely weakening phenomena, classical Prashari principles state that a planet gains exceptional cheshta bal, like the emotional strength, when it is going to be in a state of retrograde. And friends, I generally follow the simple thumb rule that if a planet is dignified in a state of exaltation in its Mool Trikona sign and it is retrograde, then it gains more powerful. But yes, on contrary, if a planet is in a state of affliction and then it is going to get retrograde, then it becomes much more weak and kind of the malefic quality somehow increases. So now just because Venus rules desire, harmony, diplomacy, currency, aesthetics, and the romantic partnership, its Vakri movement turn these energies inward, like forcing a deep audit of our value system. So friends, the Venus will like Venus stations retrograde in the Swati nakshatra within the Libra, and it will transit backward into the Chitra nakshatra. So the Libra Virgo boundary is going to be something which Venus will cover in its retrograde state. And we know that if Venus is going to be in the Virgo, so then it is going to be momentarily, it is going to be dipping into its sign of debilitation as well. So we will discuss all of that. But the main thing is that you have to understand the difference between the Swati energy, where like Venus will start its retrograde journey, because Swati is ruled by Rahu. So on one side, we're talking about a nakshatra which has everything to do with the independence, self-reliance, which has to do with the relationship management. And now coming back to the Chitra nakshatra, where the focus will shift to the structural flaws, design, and fixing broken framework in the relationship or the finances. So it needs to be understood. So that is how we are having this exclusive discussion on this. So as you can see in this slide over here, that this discussion is about the cosmic audit of values, love, currency, and karma, transiting Swati to Chitra, and the retrograde specific dates are going to be from October 3rd till November 13th. So now friends, the very first thing is that the astronomical arc and the transit path. So this is going to be a 41-day retrograde journey through Swati and Chitra nakshatra, temporarily crossing into its sign of debilitation as well. Now when we talk about the classical Jyotish explanation for this. So it attach more motional power to it, like the Cheshtabal. So contrary to the Western view of weakening, classical Prashri Jyotish grants Venus maximum Cheshtabal when retrograde. Its internal desire power, kama, intensifies immensely. And this internal focus forces a comprehensive audit of personal value system, artistic integrity, and true emotional worth. So, and it also entails somehow the Rinanu Bandhan and the karmic debts as well. So, Venus, which governs relational karma, when Vakri, unresolved soul contracts, and the Rinanu Bandhan, past life debts, surface for renegotiation or definitive closure. So, superficial bonds weaken while deep soul ties undergo intense scrutiny to restore authentic balance. So now, friends, like the way when we talk about the core areas of impact, which is very important to understand. So look at it in this way that it is going to be impacting our personal and interpersonal relationship as well. So there could be some karmic reckoning, like ex-partner or unresolved relationship dynamics frequently resurface during this 8-year cycle iteration. The way I mentioned, if you will go through the timelines before when Venus was retrograde in the Libra, it happened in 2002, it happened in 2010, it happened in 2018 as well. So the way I mentioned, so ex-partners or unresolved relationship dynamics frequently resurface during this 8-year cycle. Now, this is not merely coincidental, it represents the Rinanu Bandhan, the karmic debts demanding closure or renegotiation. It also tells about rebalancing power. Like Libra seeks peace, but retrograde motion forces you to inspect whether peace was bought at the cost of self respect or truth. And the classic Jyotish rule, like avoid starting brand new romantic commitments or getting married during a major Venus Vakri phase, because it can lead towards misjudgment about a partner's true value or underlying alignments are common until the planet turns direct and leaves its shadow. Friends, when we talk about art and the media and the celebrities as well, so it also tells about like the aesthetic realignment as well. The media industry generally experiences a shift away from the superficial trend toward vintage, retro, or deep storytelling styles. And there might be some sort of public scandals and unmasking as well. So we keep on hearing on and off about like Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, or this could be that incident which happened with the Johnny Depp, his love life and marital life and all. So those kind of scandals generally unmasked. So Venus represents reputation, glamour, and public appeal. So during its backward motion through Libra and Virgo, hidden relationship, conflicts, legal dispute, or financial improprieties among high-profile figures tend to surface. And the classic Jyotish rule says, like, postpone any major cosmetic surgery, drastic aesthetic rebranding, or launching expensive media campaign during this window, as perceptions change significantly post retrograde. So there's a slight possibility of that. And also, friends, when we talk about the financial markets and economy as well, so the currency and the commodity volatility is going to be there. Like Shukra, Venus governs the liquid assets, luxury markets, currencies, and the trade agreement. And the way I mentioned, the market re-evaluation. Historical 8-year cycle transit 2002, 2010, 2018 consistently trigger corrections in retail, entertainment, real estate, design, and luxury sectors. Investors often reassess the true intrinsic value of assets rather than speculative hype. So, friends, we have already discussed about the art and media, celebrities, fame, stock market, and when we talk about the 8-year cycle repetition. So Venus retrograde trace a near perfect 5-pointed star pattern over an 8-year period. So if you will look back at what chapters were opening or closing in your life during these exact windows. So I will tell you the dates as well, like from October 12th till November 21st of 2002, October 9th till November 19th of 2010, and from October 7th till November 16th of 2018. Venus was retrograde and it started its retrograde journey in the Libra. So the themes activated during those years regarding key partnership, financial structure, or creative path will return in a higher evolutionary loop in your life. So there's a slight possibility of that. And again, friends, the way I already mentioned about Swati versus Chitra energy. So from the Rahu driven independence of Swati to the Mars driven precision of the Chitra is going to be taking a toll in the matters of relationship as well. So this could be a case that just because you moved on from a relationship, just because you had that fault finding mindset and attitude, or this could be you bail on any relationship because you were feeling threatened because of the success of your partner. So those things can resurface in the relationship as well. And now, friends, when we talk about its, so you can see the dates over here, like in 2002, 2010, 2018, and now in 2026. And again, friends, whatever I have written over here, I have also taken into consideration the impact and the transit of slow moving planets as well. I mean to say, here we are talking about the contribution coming in from the planet Jupiter, the contribution coming in from the planet Saturn as well. So now, friends, if you will see over here, the classic do's and don'ts, which I have already mentioned, that it is not recommended, like, when Venus is combust or Venus is debilitated, Venus is retrograde, to initiate any marriage proceedings. So the classical Jyotish advises against solemnizing new marriage during Venus Vakri due to clouded long-term valuation. Postpone any cosmetic enhancement as well. Avoid any major elective surgeries or drastic rebranding, as perception can alter post retrograde. Resolve any past karmic accounts, like engage in honest dialogue to settle any emotional or financial debts with the ex partners, and audit your financial portfolios, like review the luxury spending, investments, and joint assets. Focus on intrinsic value over the hype. So, yes, friends, the pillar of transformation is definitely going to be the relational karma, like refining soul ties, releasing codependency, and establishing authentic mutual respect. See, because again, the way Venus retrograde is happening, it's not happening like from, like, for example, from Aquarius to Capricorn. It is not happening from Gemini to Taurus. It is happening from Libra to Virgo. So, something regarding which, driven by the emotional blackmailing of your partner, you committed to something, and immediate when Venus will transit to in a retrograde state, it will enter back in the Virgo. Now you're regretting that decision. So that is the only reason we never recommend any major commitments, a major U-turn when the planet is in such a state. So yes, friends, economic realignment, aesthetic integrity, we have talked about all of that. Now talking about the individual zodiac signs. So if I were to say the prime area of re-evaluation and karmic review for the Aries. So friends, it is going to be impacting your seventh house. So that means deep audit of marriage, business partnership, legal contracts is possible. And again, a lot is dependent on what kind of theme is currently going on in your life. So for the Aries, we know that Rahu is right now going in your 11th house. Saturn is there in your 12th house. So we can look at it in this way, that the prospect of ambition right now is very empowered. But the career endeavors might have taken you into isolation as well, because Saturn is there in the 12th house. But Jupiter is again blessing your domestic life. So I would say that if during this time, like, some new development happens with your ex, so don't be in a rush to commit. But just because Jupiter is protecting your domestic life, there might be something good eventually at the end, which will come out for you. So that is what I'm trying to say. Again, whenever planet is in a retrograde, all what we recommend people is that don't be in a rush, don't be in a haste. And giving this advice to the Aries people becomes very important, because they're all the time riding on a horse. They're always in a haste, always in a rush. So yes, but expect some development in the matters of relationship, settlement of the some old, with your old flame where there was no closure, or running into your ex, or resettling your business affairs. So all of that is possible. Now, friends, when we talk about the Taurus, so friends, for the Taurus, as you can see that it is going to be happening in your sixth house. So Venus is your important planet, and if your ascendant lord or your moon sign lord is going through this retrograde journey, so that in itself tells about that the health routine, workplace relationship, will be the epicenter, will be the focus. It will give you a chance to clear your debts, and it is going to be a good time for you for the dispute resolution, for resolving your dispute and all. So regarding that, I would say for the Taurus, it's going to be a good time of audit. I will not recommend initiating any new thing, but let's say for example for the work management, health management, relationship management, and in extreme conflicting situation, coming out with something which is going to be equally beneficial for both parties is going to be possible, is going to be possible. Now, friends, when we talk about the Gemini, so friends, for the Gemini, it is going to be happening in the fifth house. Romance, creative projects, relationship with the children, and the past life merit. So that in itself tells about that some, where you did not have any closure with your ex or running into your ex, in the creative projects where you have already given up, suddenly some inspiration, some funding, or being recognized for the work which you would have done in the past. So we live in a day and age of internet where whatever you have done, it's still there somewhere, which can be accessed at the right time. Relationship with the children can also be can also improve during this time. Again, friends, because in your case as well, right now Jupiter is there in your second house. So parivar, your kutumb, your family is being well taken care by the divine blessing. So yes, that is what going to be theme for the Gemini. Now, friends, when we talk about the Cancer, so friends, your home environment, real estate values, inner emotional peace, maternal connection. This could be case that you already listed your house in the marketplace, and now suddenly you're getting a better deal, or this could be, because Venus, your see, when we talk about moon can give you nourishment even through like emotional um, attachment, emotional ties. But when we talk about Venus, the sense of luxury, tangible aspect somehow comes into the picture. So I would say that during this time, if you are considering like selling a vehicle, buying a new vehicle, or redecorating your house, so all of that is possible. So, and yes, the connection with the mother, the maternal connection, family connections. The thing is, like, when we talk about the emotions and all of our memories, see, water house has got a very sensitive kind of role to play over there. I mean to say, when we talk about repressed, painful memories, we somehow look at the eighth house. But when we talk about the fourth house, somehow it has that beauty that all of our childhood, when we were being like, growing up, the way we were being handled and taken care by our loved ones, our our shell, where we feel very secure. So going through those deja vu, those memories, and being able to connect well with your family members, so all of that is going to be possible. um, so, and yes, friends, there will be those encounters which will take down you to the memory lane, in the past, in the memory. So all of that is possible. And again, here I'm talking about good memories. Here I'm not talking about something very repressive, something very sad, or something very toxic, which is the domain of the eighth house. Here I'm only talking about the good memories. Friends, when we talk about the Leo natives, so friends, for the Leo natives, it is going to be happening in the third house of communication, style with the partners, contracts, short travel, sibling dynamics. So again, let's say for example, if you have been acting like a bully, because when Ketu transit over your first house, people tend to become very unrelenting, people tend to become very extreme. So let's say for example, if that had been a situation with you, so it will actually give you a chance to renegotiate your terms, renegotiate any agreement, any contract you have signed with someone, you are listing your property on rent, or any employment related concern, any contract, so renegotiating those, or running into friends from the past, any travel which long has been in your mind but you were not able to execute it or go on that short trip and all, reconnecting with your siblings, going down the memory lane, the childhood and those memories which you have had with your friends, with your family, all of that is possible. Like, suddenly you might get an invitation for a reunion with your school time friends, college friends, and when you meet and over the drinks, laughing on those images, memories, impression. So all of that is possible. Friends, when we talk about the Virgo, so friends, in your case, it is going to be happening in the second house. So financial reserves, family dynamics, personal identity, and the self-worth, because from there it will retrograde back to your first house as well. Friends, when we talk about the Libra natives, so friends, in your case, it will start from the first house and go back to the 12th house. So complete identity overhaul is possible in this phase. Personal magnetism is going to be very strong. Hidden expenses will come onto the surface. Spiritual ties, something which has been long impending. This could be, and again, friends, when we talk about your ascendant lord, that too, if I were to take into consideration, like Jupiter is already transiting in your 10th house, it is exalted over there. Saturn is transiting in your like 6th house. So employment related commitments, your personal magnetism, appeal, personal branding. So all of that is going to be there. Might get a chance to undertake a pilgrimage, support some charities, overhaul in your family dynamics, personal identity shift, heightened confidence. So all of that is going to be possible. Friends, and again, friends, because somehow we will be immediate after, like we are also going through the phase of the like the Pitr Paksh, Shraddh Paksh as well. So I mean to say, for any charities, donation, visit to the Kul Devata temples and all, it's going to be a very uplifting time, supportive time for that. Friends, when we talk about the Scorpions, so friends, for the Scorpions, it will start from the 12th house and will end in the 11th house as well. So unconscious relationship patterns, because Venus is your like seventh lord as well. So unconscious relationship patterns will surface if you're already in a foreign land. So running into some people with whom you have had something in common, something common, where we say that the connection is going to be suddenly very strong. So running into those kind of sudden encounters in a foreign land, all of that is possible. Things from the past will suddenly come onto the surface. This could be on the level of memory or on the level of the actual physical presence is going to be possible. Any investments, any bad investments where you have already given up, suddenly there will be a chance or a hope to reclaim that money, that amount as well. Friends, when we talk about the Sagittarius natives, so friends, in your case as well, it is going to be happening somehow influencing your 11th house. So the professional network, social circles, long term goals, income prospects and all. So a lot of the like overhaul, renegotiation, reconsidering it, running into some old projects, old friends, reinitiating those long given up projects, all of that is possible. Friends, when we talk about the Capricorn natives, so friends, again, for the Capricorn, Venus is a very, very important planet, starting it in the 10th house. So career reputation, public image, executive relationship, and professional ethics is going to be the forefront. So there is going to be a kind of a renegotiation, a complete makeover, running into people from the past, those projects which has been given up in the past. Suddenly you will have a chance to work on those projects or reinitiate those projects. All of that is going to be possible. Some old colleagues you have worked with them long time back, suddenly there's a chance to reconnect with those people, those projects, those opportunities is going to be possible. Friends, when we talk about the Aquarians, so friends, for Aquarians, as you can see that ninth house is the house of the belief system, higher education, guidance, mentors, ethical balance in the deals. So I would say that during this time, the prospects of luck needs to be earned. Um, in the travels, you can experience some sort of last minute cancellation delays, slight possibility of that. For sadhana, meditation, spiritual prospects, it's going to be very good time. And yes, friends, all what I can say is that when the ninth house, the ninth lord, is going to be in a retrograde motion, so don't gamble in the matters of the luck. Don't expect things to be very smooth or inclined towards lucky breaks and all. So you have to earn it. That's what I'm trying to say over here. And friends, lastly, when we talk about the Pisces natives, so friends, it's going to be happening in your eighth house. So joint finances, intimacy dynamics, inheritance, transformation of the shared asset is going to be possible. And yes, especially when we talk about the matters of joint finances and all, if there have been some loopholes, if there have been some shortcomings, if there have been some sort of secrets and deceit, it will come onto the surface. So whether you are a victim or you are a conspirator, you have to be careful. So yes, friends, that's all what I wanted to say. Venus is a planet which gives very quick results only if with your heart and soul you will do ritual towards it. You will make peace towards it. So this could be through the beach mantra of the Venus. This could be through the recitation of the Shri Suktam. This could be via being respectful to the females in your life. You don't have to all the time go to the Devi temple. Even within your house, it's your mother, it's your sister, it's your wife. The females in your orbit needs to be honored, needs to be respected. That's what I all I wanted to say. And yes, friends, um, the lot of the research work for this video and the dates and the impact, all of that has been extracted from this application DK Score, one of the best right now. So if you have not already downloaded it from the Play Store, I would highly recommend it. So yes, friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. Thanks a lot for watching this video.